The stars shimmered like diamonds against the black velvet sky, their beauty belied by the dark undertones of the mission ahead. Captain Alara Vance stood in her dimly lit quarters aboard the Meridian, her piercing eyes scanning the encrypted message displayed before her. The cryptic text held within it the promise of an ancient power hidden deep in the Nexus Nebula, and she could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down upon her. "Captain," came First Officer Darius Kell's voice over the intercom, his calm demeanor a counterbalance to the urgency of the situation. "We're ready for the briefing." "Understood. I'll be there shortly," Alara replied, her voice steady, betraying none of the unease that roiled within her. As she entered the conference room, Alara found Dr. Lila Sorensen already present, her lively green eyes alight with curiosity. Darius, ever the stoic guardian, stood by her side. "Thank you for coming," Alara began, her voice firm yet tinged with gravity. "I've received intelligence on an ancient power believed to be located within the Nexus Nebula. It's vital that we proceed with caution. Whatever lies at the heart of the nebula has the potential to reshape reality itself." "Reshaping reality?" Lila's eyes widened, her scientific mind racing at the possibilities. "That's incredible, but also terrifying. What do we know about this power?" "Information is scarce," Alara admitted, her expression somber. "But we can't allow it to fall into the wrong hands. Our mission is to secure the Nexus entity, ensuring its power remains protected and untouched." "Understood, Captain," Darius said, his voice a solid pillar of loyalty. "We will not fail. Let's make our preparations and set course for the Nexus Nebula," Alara commanded, her determination resolute. As the Meridian sliced through the vast cosmos, the crew couldn't help but feel a sense of awe as they drew closer to the Nexus Nebula. An iridescent swirl of cosmic colors unfurled before them, mesmerizing in its beauty. Yet within its depths, they knew danger and mystery awaited. "Captain," Darius called out, his voice tense as he observed the ship's readings. "We're encountering some strange phenomena on our approach. Time and space appear to be distorted." "Stay vigilant," Alara replied, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. What new perils lie hidden within this enigmatic nebula, she wondered silently. "Captain," Lila interjected, her voice filled with wonder and trepidation. "I've never seen anything quite like this. It's as if the Nexus Nebula itself is alive, bending reality around it." "Then we must tread carefully," Alara responded, her mind racing with potential dangers. "We cannot allow ourselves to become lost in its allure." Together, Captain Vance, First Officer Kell, and Dr. Sorensen ventured into the heart of the Nexus Nebula, their senses sharpened by the ever-present threat of the unknown. Their journey had only just begun, and the secrets that lay within the cosmic mists would test their resolve, challenge their perceptions, and force them to confront the very essence of existence itself. In the swirling mists of the Nexus Nebula, colors shifted and danced like ghostly apparitions, casting eerie shadows across the dimly lit bridge of the Meridian. Captain Alara Vance stood tall, her piercing gaze locked on the viewscreen as she navigated the treacherous cosmic landscape. "Captain!" Dr. Lila Sorensen's voice broke through the silence, her tone a mixture of awe and fear. "There's something out there." "Show me!" Alara demanded, her heart racing with anticipation. A flicker of movement appeared on the viewscreen, and from the depths of the nebula emerged a figure, ethereal and enigmatic. Tall and slender, it moved with an otherworldly grace, its very presence sending shivers down Alara's spine. "Who are you?" she inquired, her voice steady despite the unease gnawing at her. "Guardian Xian," the figure replied, its voice echoing through the bridge like a distant whisper. "I have come to offer guidance through the secrets of the Nexus Nebula." "Can we trust you, Guardian?" Alara questioned, her mind filled with doubt. The nebula had already revealed itself to be unpredictable and dangerous. Was this being another threat in disguise? "Trust is earned, Captain," Xian responded cryptically. "But I can provide knowledge that may aid you in your quest." "Very well," Alara conceded, her curiosity piqued. "Tell us what you know." "Within the heart of the Nexus Nebula lies a power beyond human comprehension," Xian began, their eyes blazing with intensity. "But beware, for it is guarded by ancient forces and shrouded in darkness." "Darkness?" First Officer Darius Kell interjected, his brow furrowing with concern. "Indeed," Xian affirmed, "for the nefarious cult of the Void dwells within the nebula, seeking to wield its power for their own sinister purposes." Alara's blood ran cold at the mention of the cult. Their reputation for ruthlessness and cruelty was well known. She clenched her fists, determination settling in her chest like an anchor. "Then we must infiltrate their base," she declared, her voice filled with resolve. "We'll gather intelligence on their plans and put a halt to their twisted ambitions." "Proceed with caution," Xian advised. "The cult of the void is cunning and merciless. You must be prepared for the challenges that lie ahead." "Understood," Alara acknowledged, her mind racing with strategies. She looked at her crew, their faces etched with equal parts fear and determination. "Prepare your equipment and steel yourselves. This confrontation will test our limits, but we cannot falter. The fate of the Nexus Nebula hangs in the balance." As Guardian Xian vanished into the cosmic mists, Captain Vance and her crew braced themselves for the daunting task before them. Their hearts pounded with apprehension, but they knew they had no choice. They would face the cult of the void and protect the fragile balance of existence, even if it cost them everything. Cloaked in the eerie shadows of the cult of the void's base, Captain Alara Vance, First Officer Darius Kell, and Dr. Lila Sorensen crept through the dimly lit corridors. The silence hung heavy around them, broken only by the distant hum of ancient machinery. Alara's heart hammered in her chest as she scanned the walls for any sign of surveillance. "Dr. Sorensen, are you able to disable their security systems?" whispered Alara, her voice barely audible. "Already on it, Captain," Lila replied, her fingers dancing across a handheld device. "Their tech is advanced, but not insurmountable." As they moved deeper into the base, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. She knew all too well the cunning and ruthlessness of Thane Voss, the cult's leader. Her past experiences had taught her never to underestimate her enemies, and the cult was no exception. "Captain, I've found something." Darius motioned toward a holographic display, which flickered to life at his touch. The three of them gathered around, studying the data before them. "By the stars," Lila breathed, her eyes wide with disbelief. "The cult's influence spreads far beyond what we'd imagined. They've infiltrated powerful organizations across the galaxy, all in pursuit of the Nexus Nebula's power." "Such a force must be stopped," said Alara, her resolve hardening like tempered steel. "We cannot allow them to harness that energy for their twisted purposes." As if summoned by her words, a radiant figure materialized before them. Ethereal beauty radiated from Arya, one of the godlike architects. Her flowing silver hair and cosmic eyes shimmered with otherworldly grace, leaving the crew in awe. "Captain Vance," Arya began, her voice echoing through the chamber like a celestial symphony. "You seek to understand the Nexus Nebula and prevent its power from falling into the wrong hands. But do you truly grasp what you meddle with?" "Enlighten us, Arya," Alara replied, her voice steady despite the awe that threatened to overwhelm her. "We are here to protect the delicate balance of existence, not to exploit it." "Very well," said Arya, her gaze piercing through them like a supernova. "The Nexus Nebula is more than just a font of cosmic energy. It is the cradle of creation itself, the birthplace of all that exists, and the wellspring from which all potential springs forth." As she spoke, the chamber seemed to expand around them, revealing a tapestry of stars and galaxies stretching into infinity. Alara felt as though she were gazing into the very fabric of reality, each thread woven together in an intricate dance of cosmic wonder. "Should one wield the power of the Nexus Nebula, they have the potential to reshape existence itself," Arya continued. "But such power comes at a price, one that few are willing to pay." "Are you suggesting we abandon our mission?" Alara asked, her thoughts racing with the gravity of Arya's words. "Your intentions are noble, Captain," Arya conceded. "But the true test lies not in your actions, but in your understanding of their consequences. To harness the power of the Nexus Nebula is to hold dominion over life and death, order and chaos. The very act of reshaping reality carries with it a burden that weighs heavily upon the soul." "Then we must tread carefully," Alara murmured, her mind grappling with the moral implications of Arya's revelations. "For if we fail, we risk unleashing forces beyond our comprehension." "Indeed, Captain Vance," Arya agreed, a solemn note in her cosmic voice. "The fate of the Nexus Nebula hangs in the balance. Choose wisely, for your decisions will echo through eternity." As Arya's form dissolved into starlight, Captain Vance and her crew were left with the weight of her words hanging heavy in their hearts. They continued their mission, now more aware than ever of the stakes they faced and the cosmic forces that lay just beyond their grasp. A swirling maelstrom of color and cosmic energy greeted Captain Alara Vance as she stood on the observation deck, gazing into the mesmerizing heart of the Nexus Nebula. The vast expanse before her seemed to pulse with life, each vibrant hue a testament to the untold power that lay hidden within its depths. "Captain!" a voice called softly from behind her. Alara turned to see Zephyr, the enigmatic Chronosian, gliding gracefully into the dimly lit room. Their eyes shimmered with the same hues that painted the nebula outside. Yet there was a wisdom in their gaze that spoke of countless millennia spent traversing the vastness of time. "Zephyr," Alara acknowledged, nodding respectfully. "What brings you here?" "I have come to share a prophecy," Zephyr replied, their voice like a whisper on the wind. "One that speaks of a great cosmic conflict centered around this very nebula." "Conflict?" First Officer Darius Kell asked, stepping forward with a furrowed brow. "Between whom?" "Between the forces of order and chaos," Zephyr said cryptically. "And it is written that those who hold the keys to unlock the Nexus Nebula's power shall determine the outcome of this struggle." Dr. Lila Sorensen, her curiosity piqued, stepped closer. "We've already discovered the potential consequences of harnessing the nebula's power. How can we be certain we're choosing the right path?" "By seeking the truth hidden within these celestial winds," Zephyr offered, extending a slender hand towards the extraordinary vista beyond the observation deck. "I can guide you deeper into the nebula, where answers may yet be found." Alara exchanged a glance with her crew, seeing the trepidation and determination mirrored in their eyes. She knew they had come too far, and the stakes were too high to turn back now. With a nod, she accepted Zephyr's offer. "Lead the way, Zephyr," Alara said resolutely. As they ventured further into the heart of the Nexus Nebula, guided by Zephyr's uncanny ability to navigate the labyrinthine corridors of time, the crew found themselves confronted with sights that defied comprehension. They bore witness to remnants of long-extinct civilizations, their majestic cities suspended in the nebula like ghostly echoes of a distant past. "By the stars," Darius breathed as they passed through the towering spires of a once thriving metropolis, its inhabitants frozen in time, eternally unaware of their fate. "Time is not linear here," Zephyr explained, their voice tinged with sorrow. "It bends and folds upon itself, creating loops and paradoxes that confound even my own understanding." "Such power," Lila murmured, her thoughts racing with the potential implications. "But how can we harness it without causing irreparable harm?" "Perhaps that is the true test," Alara mused, gazing upon the ethereal beauty that surrounded them. "To find a way to wield this power responsibly, with respect for the delicate balance of existence." "Indeed, Captain," Zephyr agreed, a faint smile playing across their ageless features. "For the choices you make here will reverberate throughout eternity, shaping not only your own destiny, but that of the entire Nexus Nebula." With renewed determination, Captain Vance and her crew pressed onward, guided by their enigmatic Chronosian companion. They knew that the answers they sought lay hidden within the cosmic tapestry of the Nexus Nebula, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to confront the unknown. And so, they delved deeper into the heart of mystery and wonder, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in their quest for the truth. A vast panorama of swirling cosmic energy unfurled before Captain Alara Vance as she stood at the observation window of the Meridian. The Nexus Nebula's vibrant colors bled into one another, creating mesmerizing patterns that seemed to dance and ripple along the edges of her perception. "Captain," Zephyr's serene voice broke through the hypnotic haze, "I believe it is time for you to know the full extent of the prophecy." Alara turned her gaze from the window, meeting Zephyr's ageless eyes with determination. "Very well. Tell us what we need to know." "Within the Nexus Nebula lies a dormant power," Zephyr began, but was interrupted by a sudden tremor that shook the Meridian violently. Dr. Lila Sorensen stumbled, catching herself on a nearby console. "Captain!" First Officer Darius Kell shouted from the helm. "Sensors are picking up multiple ships approaching at high speed. It's the cult of the void." "Battle stations!" Alara snapped, her heart pounding in her chest. Instinct and training kicked in as the crew scrambled to their positions. "Zephyr, we need to know our options now," she demanded, trying to keep her voice steady despite the imminent danger. "Very well," Zephyr acquiesced. The cosmic conflict foretold is between the forces of order and chaos. Should you harness the nebula's power, it could grant you unparalleled ability to reshape the universe. However, unleashing this power may upset the delicate balance of existence and lead to unknown consequences. Weighing the options in her mind, Alara couldn't help but wonder if the power they sought would be worth the potential cost. But there was no time for doubt, not with the cult of the void bearing down on them. "Bring up the shields," she ordered, her voice resolute. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers." "Shields up, Captain," Darius confirmed, his fingers dancing over the controls. "Captain," Lila interjected, her voice strained with concern. "We must consider the implications of this power. If we can control it, think of what we could do to help countless civilizations." "Or destroy them," Alara countered, her eyes never leaving the approaching ships on the view screen. "Right now, our priority is to defend ourselves and prevent the cult of the void from obtaining that power." "Agreed," Zephyr intoned solemnly. "The choice you make will not only impact your own fate, but that of all who dwell within the Nexus Nebula." With a fierce determination burning in her chest, Captain Vance issued her orders. "Darius, initiate countermeasures. Lila, coordinate with engineering and medical to ensure we're prepared for casualties. Zephyr, I need your assistance at tactical." "Understood, Captain," they chorused, springing into action as the Meridian braced for the impending battle. Blazing energy beams crisscrossed through space as the Meridian and the cult's fleet engaged in a deadly dance. Each strike and counterstrike was met with precision and cunning, highlighting the skills and teamwork of Alara's crew. "Captain!" Darius called out. "Thane Voss's flagship is charging its primary weapon. It's unlike anything we've seen before." "Zephyr, any ideas?" Alara asked, her voice taut with the strain of combat. "Allow me to try something," the Chronosian replied cryptically, their hands moving deftly over the tactical console. As the enemy weapon fired, time seemed to slow to a crawl around the deadly beam. The Meridian glided gracefully out of its path, avoiding certain destruction by mere seconds. "Remarkable," Lila breathed, her eyes wide with awe. "Thank you, Zephyr," Alara murmured, her heart swelling with gratitude. "But this battle is far from over." The Meridian continued to weave through the chaos, its crew determined to protect their ship and prevent Thane Voss from achieving his twisted vision. The cosmic conflict that had been foretold was now upon them, and the choices they made in the heat of battle would echo throughout eternity. The Meridian shuddered under the relentless onslaught of the cult's fleet, its hull groaning as though in pain. Captain Alara Vance clenched her fists, trying to keep her emotions from overwhelming her. She knew that the lives of her crew were in her hands, and she couldn't afford to let them down now. "Captain," Zephyr said calmly, standing at her side on the bridge, "I may be able to offer assistance." "Can you enhance our defenses?" Alara asked, her voice betraying a hint of desperation. "Perhaps," the enigmatic Chronosian replied cryptically, "but I will require access to your ship's systems." "Very well," Alara agreed hesitantly, her trust in Zephyr still unsteady. "But I need you to promise me that you're truly on our side." "Captain," Zephyr responded with an unreadable expression, "I assure you my intentions are aligned with yours." "All right, then make it happen." Alara nodded, granting Zephyr permission. She turned back to her crew, issuing orders to counter the cult's advances. In the heat of battle, however, she couldn't shake the lingering doubt about Zephyr's true allegiance. As the ship continued to take damage, Dr. Lila Sorensen worked feverishly in the science lab, analyzing the data they had collected on the Nexus entity. The more she discovered, the more she realized that the Nexus Nebula wasn't just a source of unimaginable power. It was alive. "Alara," Lila called urgently over the intercom, "I found something important about the Nexus entity. It's sentient, and it seems to be reacting to the conflict around us. We might be able to communicate with it and convince it to help us." "Are you certain?" Alara asked, her eyes darting between the battle outside and her trusted friend on the screen. "Absolutely," Lila responded, determination evident in her voice. "We have to try." "Very well. Do what you can, Lila. I trust your instincts." "Thank you, Captain." Lila's image vanished from the screen as she set to work establishing contact with the Nexus entity. Meanwhile, the Meridian systems began to flicker and malfunction, adding to the chaos and confusion on the bridge. Alara turned to Zephyr, her eyes narrowing as suspicion crept into her mind. "What are you doing?" "Helping," Zephyr replied impassively, their fingers still dancing across the control panel. "Are you?" Alara challenged, her voice laden with doubt. "Or are you sabotaging my ship?" "Captain Vance," Zephyr said, their expression unchanging. "You must decide whether to trust me or not, but I assure you, I am here to help." Alara hesitated, staring deep into Zephyr's inscrutable eyes. In that moment, she was forced to make a choice, to continue doubting her enigmatic ally or to place her faith in them and focus on the task at hand. With a curt nod, she turned away, devoting her attention to coordinating the defense of her ship. As the battle raged on, the Meridian suffered heavy damage, its once proud form now scarred by the fury of the cosmic conflict. Alara knew that they couldn't hold out much longer, but she refused to give up hope. They had come too far, sacrificed too much, to falter now. "Captain," Dr. Sorensen's voice crackled over the intercom, "I've managed to establish communication with the Nexus entity. It's willing to guide us deeper into the nebula, where we can confront it directly and put an end to this chaos." "Very well," Alara replied, her determination unwavering. "We'll follow its guidance, no matter the cost." "Understood, Captain. I'll relay the coordinates to navigation immediately." As the Meridian plunged deeper into the Nexus Nebula, reality itself seemed to unravel around them, leaving the crew to grapple with the unimaginable power that lay at the heart of existence. They knew that their mission was far from over, but their resolve had never been stronger. Together, they would face the Nexus entity and bring an end to the cosmic chaos that threatened to consume them all. As the Meridian plunged deeper into the Nexus Nebula, a resplendent tapestry of iridescent hues woven across the cosmos greeted Captain Alara Vance's eyes. The dazzling interplay of light and darkness tugged at the very fabric of her soul, a testament to the unimaginable power that lay at the heart of existence. "Captain," Dr. Sorensen's voice crackled over the intercom, "we've reached the coordinates provided by the Nexus entity. It's here that we must confront it and make our decision." "Very well," Alara replied, her determination unwavering. "Gather the crew in the conference room immediately. We have an important choice to make." Assembled around the conference table, the crew exchanged anxious glances, anticipation and dread mingling in the charged atmosphere. Alara took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenge ahead. "Here we stand," she began, her voice steady. "On the threshold of ultimate power. The Nexus entity has offered us a choice: harness the power of the nebula to reshape the universe, or sacrifice everything to preserve the delicate balance of existence." She paused, allowing the gravity of their decision to sink in. "I want to hear your thoughts before we proceed." First Officer Darius Kell spoke up first. "The potential of this power is awe-inspiring, Captain, but with it comes the risk of catastrophic consequences. Can we truly trust ourselves to wield such power responsibly?" "Exactly," Dr. Lila Sorensen chimed in, her eyes ablaze with passion. "We've seen what Thane Voss and the Cult of the Void are capable of. Imagine if they were to obtain this power. We can't let that happen." Alara weighed their words carefully, her mind racing with the implications of their decision. As captain, she bore the responsibility of determining the fate of countless lives, a burden that weighed heavily on her shoulders. "Guardian Xian," she addressed the enigmatic figure before them, "how can we be certain that the Nexus entity will honor its promise? What if it's merely testing us for its own amusement?" "Captain Vance, your caution is well-founded," Xian conceded, their voice a soothing balm. "The Nexus entity is beyond our comprehension, and its motives may remain forever inscrutable. However, I believe that it recognizes the potential within you and your crew to make the right decision." As they contemplated their options, an ominous rumble echoed throughout the Meridian, heralding the arrival of Thane Voss and his Cult of the Void. Alara's heart clenched with apprehension as she realized they had run out of time. "Captain!" cried Darius. "Voss has found us. We need to face them now." "Very well," Alara replied, her jaw set with determination. "It seems our debate must come to an end. We'll confront Voss, Guardian Xian, and the Nexus entity in a battle to protect the balance of existence itself." With that, the crew rushed to their battle stations, adrenaline surging through their veins as they prepared to face their adversaries in a climactic confrontation that would transcend space and time. As they hurtled towards their destiny, Captain Alara Vance steeled herself,
ready to confront the unimaginable power that could either save or doom the universe.
The cosmic tapestry unfurled before Alara Vance, a vibrant dance of stars and nebulae that seemed to sing in harmony with the pulsating energy surrounding them. She stood at the heart of the Nexus Nebula, her eyes wide with awe as she bore witness to the raw power of creation. "Captain!" Darius's voice rang out above the celestial symphony, snapping her back to reality. "The Nexus entity, it's—" Alara turned her gaze towards the sentient embodiment of the Nexus Nebula. Its form shimmered like a dream, an ever-shifting mass of cosmic energy that defied comprehension. The entity pulsed in time with the celestial song, its power palpable even from a distance. "Is it creating something?" Dr. Sorensen whispered, her normally stoic demeanor replaced by sheer wonder. "Behold!" intoned Guardian Xian, their ethereal voice resonating with the cosmic vibrations. "The Nexus entity reveals its purpose." "Watch, mortals," the entity began, its voice echoing within their minds. "Bear witness to the birth of a new universe, shaped by your choices and actions." As they looked on, the Nexus entity unleashed its power, each tendril of energy weaving intricate patterns across the fabric of space and time. The very laws that governed existence trembled beneath the weight of the entity's will, bending and reshaping as it wove a new reality into being. "By the architects," breathed Alara, her thoughts racing. "What have we set in motion?" "Captain," Darius said urgently, his eyes locked on the unfolding spectacle. "We need to decide what role we'll play in this new universe. Will we protect the delicate balance we've helped to forge, or—" "Or what?" Dr. Sorensen asked, her voice tinged with fear. "Or risk losing ourselves in the process," Darius finished grimly. "Guardian Xian," Alara addressed the enigmatic being, "what will become of us when this new universe emerges?" "Your fate, Captain Vance, is intertwined with that of the Nexus Nebula," Xian replied. "You and your crew shall emerge as its guardians, accepting the responsibility to safeguard the delicate balance you have helped to forge." "Then that is what we shall do," Alara declared, her resolve steeling once more. "We'll protect this new reality, no matter the cost." "Very well," echoed the Nexus entity. "Embrace your destiny, children of the cosmos." In a breathtaking crescendo of light and sound, the new universe exploded into existence around them. The birth of reality washed over the crew of the Meridian, forever changing them as they became the guardians of the fragile equilibrium they had shaped. "Captain," Darius murmured, wonder in his eyes, "I don't think we'll ever truly grasp the magnitude of what we've accomplished here today." "Perhaps not," Alara agreed, gazing out at the splendor of the universe unfolding before them. "But I do know one thing. Together we have the power to shape our destiny, and the courage to face whatever challenges lie ahead." With a renewed sense of purpose and determination, Captain Alara Vance and her crew embraced their roles as protectors of the Nexus Nebula, prepared to defend the cosmic balance that their actions had helped to create. And as they gazed out into the newly formed cosmos, they knew that their journey was far from over. It had only just begun.